I had to go to Vietnam. I needed to go. Captain Elizabeth Allen.
Captain Allen was assigned to the 71st Evacuation Hospital, which was bombed during the Tet Offensive.
Men's lives were dependent on me, and my being scared was just not useful. You had these guys with massive wounds, not just a leg cut off, but as bad as 2 legs off, 2 arms off, and blind. I had to protect him. I had to make sure if a mortar hit, the shrapnel didn't hit him again. I had to keep them alive to the best of my ability. I sat on a razor's edge. Captain Elizabeth Allen.
Back in the States, African-American servicemen and women had begun to receive the kind of press attention that in wars past had been unthinkable. Sergeant Clyde Brown Jr. was even featured on the cover of Time. The magazine heralded his cool professionalism and the actions of others like him.
For the first time in the nation's military history, its Negro fighting men are fully integrated in combat. Their performance in battle proclaims a truth that Americans have not yet learned about themselves. Merit is the only measure of a man. Time Magazine.
Despite countless acts of heroism during World War II, no black servicemen had yet received the Medal of Honor. That terrible injustice was finally rectified when 7 African Americans were recognized for their valor.
These heroes distinguished themselves in another, almost unique way. In the tradition of African Americans who have fought for our nation as far back as Bunker Hill, they were prepared to sacrifice everything for freedom, even though freedom's fullness was denied to them. President Bill Clinton.
The honorees included Private George Watson, who gave his life rescuing soldiers aboard the Dutch steamer Jacob when it was attacked by Japanese bombers. First Lieutenant John Fox was killed the day after Christmas, stopping a Nazi advance in Italy. Staff Sergeant Reuben Rivers was recognized for leading the way in France. Major Charles Thomas stormed a village 5 miles from the German border. He later remarked, "I was sent to draw enemy fire, but I didn't mean to draw that much." Staff Sergeant Edward Carter, despite being shot 5 times, managed to kill 6 of his attackers and capture the other 2 before returning to his unit. Private First Class Willie James lost his life trying to save his wounded platoon leader. Second Lieutenant Vernon J. Baker destroyed multiple German positions, then covered the evacuation of his company's wounded by drawing the enemy's bullets. He was the only man who lived long enough to attend the ceremony.
As a black soldier, I fought a war on 2 sides. I was an angry young man, and all my soldiers were angry. But we had a job to do, and we did it. Medal of Honor recipient, Vernon Baker.
God bless America.
American servicemen and women were fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan when back home, the American people elected their 44th president. On a cold winter morning, with 1.8 million people in attendance, Barack Obama placed his hand on Abraham Lincoln's Bible and repeated the oath of office.
So help me God.
With those words, the United States of America had its first black commander-in-chief.
The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to choose our better history, to carry forward that precious gift that noble idea passed on from generation to generation, the God-given promise that all are equal, all are free, and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The story of America's black patriots is a paradox. Since 1641, there has never been a time in our history when African Americans were unwilling to serve and bravely sacrifice for their country. Yet, despite this valiant heritage, until recently, no matter the conflict, whenever America was engaged in war, the question, would the Negro fight, was raised in numerous ways, and always with the same racist assumptions. African Americans were inferior. They couldn't be trusted with a gun. They didn't have the intelligence or the courage to fight. They wouldn't follow orders, let alone ever be capable of giving them.
As history has vividly demonstrated, what ultimately needed to be asked wasn't would the Negro fight, but rather why. As African American servicemen and women continue to shed their blood in the defense of the United States, the answer to that question is abundantly clear. Like all Americans in all wars, African Americans fought for love of liberty.